someone who grew up in the South, and I was Christian, as many people are in the South. As I have left Christianity and, done a lot of questioning and done my own thing and found my own path, Christianity really robbed me. That's one of the things that I often think about in all the time that I was Christian. It robbed me of actually enjoying the time in my life when I was single. Because despite the fact that Jesus was single, died single, marriage was always put on a pedestal. Everybody in the church is single, and as soon as somebody gets married, they get to talk in front of the whole church about what makes a marriage work. And all the single women, scooch up their chairs and try to take notes on what they should do to get a husband. All the time I spent praying for a husband and praying for God to change me into being ready for my husband and to be the perfect wife, when I had no business worrying about another human being. I had so much that I was going through. I should have been, if anything, praying for myself, and getting my shit together for me. It robbed me of all the time that I wasted in a marriage where I was getting abused and cheated on, thinking that it was my fault and that I need to stay because he needs my prayers and he needs my support. And hearing all the stories of women claiming that my husband was abusive once and he cheated on me all the time and I used to pray for him, and then one day he magically stopped, when in actuality he just got old. He just got too old to play the BS games anymore. He can't knock you between a washer and dryer because he has dislocated his hip. He can't go out and cheat because he can no longer see the road. Christianity robbed me of wanting respect in my relationships because the man is supposed to lead, right? And if you can't make a decision, the man has the final say. It's God, it's man, and then me, then my kids. When in actuality, you and your husband are supposed to be a team. You guys have strengths and you guys have weaknesses. And you move accordingly. And sometimes your kids will come first because they're babies, or, they might be special needs. There's a crisis situation going on. And it's this weird idea that you can't chew gum and walk at the same time. I never liked that. And it's really sad to me to hear women talking about they need a man to lead them. I'm sorry. That it just bothers me so much. And these men just love it, just eating that shit up, I wouldn't want to be with any man who thinks he needs to lead me, because most of these men lead you into hell. I'm just saying, they lead you straight to hell. And we don't need leading. Women are so smart. We far so surpass men in so many categories. If anything, we should be the leaders. I don't understand. Christianity robbed me of my sexual freedom, because you're supposed to be a good little girl. You're supposed to be a virgin. And I was a virgin. My ex-husband was my first. And I spent 5 years never having and the one time I did have one is because I did it to myself. And I wish that I could have just experienced SMEX and had fun and really learned, because I knew how it worked, I knew how it worked at that point. I knew what a was. But I was told that, just pray about it, pray that your husband will find desire for you. No, I needed a whole phase. Protected, of course, calm down, but I wish I would have just enjoyed myself, Also, there was a point in time when I left my abusive ex-husband that I think I was having a nervous breakdown. I thought that God wanted us to be back together. And I remember that whole time in my life. And something just clicked. because I was, going to his house. We weren't doing anything. And I thought, wow, we're on the right track. And it was time for me to pick up the kids, and he refused to give them back to me. And I was knocking on the door, begging him to just let the kids out. And he opened the door, and he had this evil look on his face, and he slammed the door back in my face, and something clicked like, wow, this man is evil. I don't want any parts of this. And lastly, Christianity robbed me of my ancestors. Because believing in the magic and the power that my ancestors have, and I believe that they protect me to this very day, I do. That's a sin. There's only one way to God. But my ancestors are God's. They are. They are. And my mom used to always tell me that we were protected. And I didn't understand what she was saying, but as I've gotten older, I understand what she was saying. Growing up being told that Black culture and the things that Black people believed in, hoodoo or, witchcraft or whatever is a sin. It's wrong. It's evil. People to this day saying Beyonce is evil and she's just a talented Black woman who is successful. They do that to humble us, because how dare we? How dare we be successful? We're supposed to be humble and lowly and serve the white man's. The best thing that I did for my life was just walk away from Christianity. And before anybody says it, yes, I am Jewish. However, I chose Judaism, or at least this kind of Judaism, Reform Judaism, because you're allowed to ask questions. You're allowed to debate. I love the community. And when they read over the Jewish Bible, people are like, well, this didn't really happen, but, it was symbolic. And they don't take everything literally. Women are respected. Everything's not about finding a mate. I mean, there are some types of Judaism where that is very much the case, but I mostly just like the community and the freedom in it. And there's this understanding that nobody's perfect. We're all fucking shit up. As opposed to when I was a Christian, where everybody pretended to be perfect. And the whole point was to point fingers and look down on other people. There was no consequences for anyone. And I was always the person that they hated to have in their little Bible studies, because I was always asking questions. And I remember being in this Bible study where this guy was leading it, and I kept raising my hands and asking questions, and he rolled his eyes and said, just pray about it. Why am I not allowed to ask questions? Why am I not allowed to think for myself? Why am I not allowed to admit that something just doesn't fucking make sense? Because it doesn't make sense. And people hate when I say this, but I said what I said. 10 toes down in this. Christians have been the meanest and most harmful types of people that I have ever had the displeasure of being around. Not to mention, I've been assaulted by 3 Christian men. And everybody's excuse is always, well, they aren't Christian. That's not God. That's man. And it's just another way to continue to have us follow blindly and not ask any questions, and to not hold anybody accountable. I mean, because if man is a reflection of God and man is fucking up, God should file a defamation of character lawsuit. Anyway, those are my thoughts.